Sweet. Hey, kia ora. Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Surprise in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1936. Motivation Monday genealogy tips. So, how has your Monday gone? Yes, it's Monday. It's the beginning of the week. I know some people don't like Monday. I love Mondays. My day has been crazy busy. But here we are. I get to talk to you for a few minutes before I got to go off and jump on another call. But I have a question for you today. What is one trait or accomplishment of your ancestor that inspires or motivates you in your own life? For me, it was my grandmother's service in the Women's Auxiliary Air Force during World War II. She used to tell us lots of stories about that. And it inspired me to go and join the Royal New Zealand Air Force at the tender age of 17. I had to be 16 and a half on day of application. Believe me, 16 and a half, that application went in the day I turned 16 and a half, that application got mailed. And by the end of that year, before my 17th birthday, I found out I had been accepted into the Air Force and would be going in the following year. We just didn't know the date. It wasn't until May 1st, 1984, so 40 and a half years ago, is when I joined the Royal New Zealand Air Force. And I was in the Air Force for 6 years and had a great time. Would I repeat again knowing what I know now? Probably not. Would I repeat it again as a naive 17-year-old? Probably. It was a great time. I enjoyed it. My grandmother was my inspiration for that part of my life, and I had a great time. And she got to see me. She came to my passing out parade, which is when you finish boot camp. And she followed my career very closely. She was very proud of her granddaughter that went into the Air Force. So that was one thing also too, our family has a very big sense of duty. And during World War II, not only my grandmother served in the Women's Auxiliary Air Force, but she also had brothers who served in the New Zealand Army, and her husband served in the Royal New Zealand Army, along with his brothers serving in the Royal New Zealand Army, along with my great-grandfather, who not only served in World War I, but also served in World War II. And then my dad ended up being a fireman and then later a policeman. So there's that sense of duty, that sense of service. On my mum's side of the family, my grandfather was a lay minister at one point, and my grandmother was a dressmaker, but she also worked in a thrift store where people were bringing the clothes and stuff. She would take them home, make repairs and everything on them, and take them back to the thrift store. And guess what? I happened to be looking up something in the city in which they lived at the time, it's the same city that I was born in New Zealand, and I happened to be looking at something on a map. And there was a picture of the thrift store that my grandmother, that thrift store is still in business today. I remember as a kid staying with my grandmother, and that was Nana, and she would take us over to the thrift store while she had her volunteer time of sitting behind the counter. And while she's sitting there, she's hand sewing stuff and making repairs and that sort of stuff. And we're busy running around the store, having a look at things and helping out where we needed to help out. Yes, we did help check people out as well. And it was a great time. I enjoyed that. And that Highbury House is still in existence today at the same place, in the same strip mall, in the same location, in exactly the same location. So I was kind of surprised to see that. And I'm like, wow, that's really cool. That's the test of time. So let's have a look at some Motivational Monday things for reigniting your passion for genealogy. So if you're sort of getting at the things like, I really can't be bothered doing anymore, or I'm tired of it, let's have a look at some ways that we can give you a motivation. Oh, there she goes. Motivational boost. She must be walking around with her biscuit in her mouth again. She only goes off into the dark corridor down to the bedrooms if she's got her biscuit in her mouth that she doesn't want to eat. She needs to marinate. Anyway, Motivational Monday, reigniting your passion for genealogy. Start with a small win. Pick one simple task that you can accomplish quickly, like organizing a folder, finding a new record, and make success. A small success can spark momentum for bigger projects. Sorry, she's on a... she might actually be laying down and eating it. So getting that small success, starting with a small win, can help spark momentum for bigger projects. Whenever you, if you've got a to-do list and you're looking at a to-do list, this is a long to-do list. every morning when I get up, I make my side of the bed. And then as soon as Zeffie gets up, I make her side of the bed because we share a king bed. And as soon as I'm done with that, I go, beds are made, 2 things done. And then I'll go and have a shower and get dressed and all of that sort of stuff. Another 2 things done. I got showered, I got dressed. Let's go for a walk. 5 things done. And this is all within 30 minutes of getting up, of getting up out of bed. We've got 5 things accomplished. We've made 2 beds, had shower, got dressed, and we're going for a walk within 30 minutes of waking up. So 5 things accomplished. And that gets you on that path to accomplishing more. Well, what else can I accomplish today? You're already in that accomplished mode. So why not do that with wins? Organizing a folder, finding one new record, going, yay, we found them. It's just a small success that can spark momentum for bigger projects. Number 2, reconnect with your why. Reflect on what made you start genealogy. Was it uncovering family stories, preserving your heritage, connecting with loved ones? Reaffirm your purpose to stay motivated. Mine is finding out, where did I come from? I've got all these different traits. Were they traits that were passed down through the family? I remember my favorite storybooks were old photo albums, and my dad's parents had some photo albums. The black pages with the black and white photographs in, and the white pen or pencil that they would use for writing on the black pages. And I would lift up the corners of those and go through to find the pictures that I liked. And that was the ones I wanted to hear the stories out of. And I would take them up there and go, tell me a story. And they would tell me the stories behind the photographs. Do I remember? Sorry, she just, and those are the stories that I wanted to hear. Do I remember those stories now? Nope. This is when I was young. I was a little tacker at the time, but I do remember going through this. I just don't remember. If I saw the photos, would I remember them? Maybe. I might be able to remember. If somebody just gives me a couple of keywords, and then I could probably go tell the story. I don't know. I'd have to test it out. So that's, why did you do that? It was the stories, who came before me. I love stories. I love stories. I come from a family of storytellers, so I'm kind of screwed in that. But I love hearing stories. I love hearing family stories. And every time somebody finds out I'm a genealogist, we're at some event, somebody finds out I'm a genealogist, I don't go out advertising the fact. My goal when I'm at an event is to meet people that I may be able to do business with, somebody I can collaborate with, somebody I can refer people to. My goal is to get in and out without them knowing what I do. But should they find out that I'm a genealogist, the stories that they tell you is just incredible. We have, there's a gentleman who in the neighborhood here, and when we meet up with him, he's always got some genealogy story to tell me. It's awesome. And he's not even the genealogist in the family. He has a sister who does all the genealogy for the family. And he relays stories about who he's related to, how they discovered it, and things like that. It's just fascinating. I just love listening to stories. Number 3, celebrate your progress. Take a moment to review what you have achieved so far. Highlight key discoveries, such as breaking through a brick wall or uncovering a fascinating ancestor. This is why I love what I do, because I get to breaking down those brick walls is just so satisfying. It's like, yes, got another one bites the dust. Yeah. Uncovering fascinating ancestors. There are so many stories out there that are everybody's family tree has some stories in there. There's stories of tragedy. There's stories of romance. There's any story you can possibly think of. There is a story like that in every single family tree. It's just not going to be the Mayberry. Not every family is going to have a Mayberry story. Is that the right one? Mayberry with Ron Howard. The Andy Griffith show where they lived in Mayberry. And everybody was so nice and polite and And they all had their little white picket fences and everything else. And yeah, not everybody's going to have that. You're going to find murder in there. You're going to find tragedy. You're going to find romance. You're going to find the love story that eclipses all love stories. You're going to find challenges, devastation, triumphs, accomplishments. You're going to find so many different stories within your family tree if you take the time to uncover them. And celebrating your progress is like, yay! Number 4, set an achievable goal for the week. Choose one specific, realistic goal for the week, such as researching a single, that's one, ancestor, organizing a family photo album, or transcribing a document. Just one task for the week. Number 5, try something new. Keep the process exciting by exploring a new resource, a database, or record type. If you've never used the military records, land deeds, or newspaper archives, now's a great time to dive in and have a look and explore and see what treasures you might uncover. I tell you, it's like going on, it's like being an archaeologist and you're digging into the past and finding all these really cool stories. Number 6, join a genealogy community. Motivation often comes from connection. Join an online genealogy forum, local society, or social media group to help share your wins and get support. A lot of times if you go into some of these groups and things saying, hey, look, I'm having problems finding this is the background story, and this is where I've already researched. Is there any other place I can go? Sometimes having the support of other people that turn around and say, oh yeah, I had that similar situation. This is what I did and this is what I found. Or you might want to try this resource or that resource. You will get that support there. Or if it's some record that you have to be in person to see, they may have connections to other genealogy or family history societies in different states, or maybe in the town that you need somebody to go and have a look at and you can't get there for a while. So they may have resources in another area where through your little society or forum and stuff that people can turn around and say, hey, let me get in contact with you and we'll sort it all out and I'll go have a look for you. So that's the other reason of joining genealogy communities is getting the support from people in different areas that may be able to go and do that boots on the ground research that you need to do because the information is not available online. Number 7, involve your family. I will tell you that some of my greatest memories in my teenage years was going on genealogy hunts with my mom. We had so much fun. I loved it, what we uncovered and things. And then what would be really cool is that she would go and do research when I was unable to. She was writing because this was back in the 80s. She's writing letters off to England and Scotland and things to get information back. And then she would tell me, she goes, Helen, I got a letter from da-da-da-da-da. And she would share what she had discovered. Or it could be that a relative in New Zealand had contacted her for with some information and stuff. But what was really cool was the fact that was something that we got to do together. It was a mother-daughter thing that we got to do together. And then we'd sit around the dinner table and talk about what mail she'd received that day with more information in there and how it fitted in and what mystery that now creates, or maybe it's a mystery that got solved. And we'd sit around the family table that night and talk about it. And the whole family got to interact with all of that. It was awesome. It was amazing. I love that. And guess what? I get to start doing it again with my parents when I get down to New Zealand next year. So I'm super excited about that. Because I've only been able to share little bits and pieces of things that I've learned. So I'll be able to sit down with my mum and go, look what I've done with the tree. This is what it was like when you gave it to me. This is what it's like now. You can create a vision board. Use photographs, maps, and documentation to visualize your genealogy journey. Display it near your workspace to remind yourself of what you are working towards. Maybe you've got a picture of an ancestor and you're trying to find out as much information. You're trying to find out his life story. And you're doing it in small increments, like, can I locate, like trying to find his birth records. Then you want to find his marriage record, and then his death records. And then you want to find his school records. Was he on any census report or electoral roll? And so you start filling in the gaps on the story. Was he in any newspaper articles? And you start building this person's life. So it could be on the vision board that you have a photograph of that ancestor. And now let's go find all the information we can about him and just do it in small steps, like I said, locating the birth certificate, his birth records, or maybe his baptism records, depending on whether it was a birth or baptism that got recorded at the time. Some baptismal records will also write in the date of birth, which is very, very helpful for them. And I just love it when they do that. Number 9, reward yourself. Plan a small reward for completing a genealogy task. It could be treating yourself to your favorite dessert, relaxing with a genealogy book or podcast. It could be, I have a daily to-do list, and if I don't get my to-do list done for the day, I don't get to watch a movie that evening. I love watching movies. But while people go, but when do you get time to do everything else? And because I'm my own free agent, I can turn around and say, when I'm watching a movie, my hands have to be busy. So it could be something like I'm learning AI, I'm learning different AI programs while I watch a movie. Or it could be that I'm on the iPad doing one of those coloring apps that they have out there. It's just that my hands have to be, or I could be knitting or crocheting. I was cleaning out the things the other day and I found out a blanket that I'm partway through. I have 1/4 of it already done. I am working on it's made in 4 pieces. I'm working on the second quarter of it. And I thought, oh, I've got to get this finished. And I don't know where the pattern is. I'm like, oh my gosh, what have I done with the pattern? It's not in the bag that had all the yarn in for the second quarter that I'm working on. So I went to where the first quarter is stored, and no pattern there either. So now, while I'm doing all my sorting, that's at the top of my mind, is find the pattern for this blanket. And then once I've done that, I get to sit and I get to relax and watch a movie, and it's watching a movie and it's keeping my hands busy at the same time. Sometimes I will sit and doodle as well, or sit there and just write whatever comes out of my brain while I'm still watching a movie. Yes, I can keep up with the movie. My husband used to test me on it. He goes, are you actually watching this? I go, yeah, this character just did blah, 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 blah. And I'll give him a summary of the thing. He's like, you're actually watching that while you read a book? I went, yep. So it just amazed him. While my eyes were busy reading, my ears were still listening. And number 10, remember, it's a journey. Genealogy is a marathon. It is not a sprint. It is going to take time. So embrace the process, enjoy the discoveries, and don't worry about tackling everything at once. You got plenty of time to work through this, and you've got other people in the family who may be willing to assist you with this, or who may want to take over when you're no longer around to do this. So make sure all your records are organized, so that if somebody comes along behind you and picks up your research, they know where you are, they know what you've already searched, and they can continue on your legacy of leaving behind a family tree. So again, our question for you today, so those top 10 are: start with a small win, reconnect with your why, celebrate your progress, set an achievable goal for the week, try something new, join a genealogy community, involve your family, create a vision board, reward yourself, and remember, it's a journey. And my question for you tonight is: what is one trait or accomplishment of an ancestor that inspires or motivates you in your own life? And with that, we are out of here. We'll be back online tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Pacific. And guess what? Nicole's going to be with us. Yay! So with that, I'm out of here. 6 p.m. Pacific tomorrow night. Nicole's back. And we're going to be talking about, if I remember correctly, we are going to be talking about healthy home remedies, I think is what we're talking about. I know she's going to be in the kitchen doing demonstrations on home remedies that you can do at home. Anyway, with that, I'm out of here. Go out, have a super fantastic, sparkling evening. We'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at